Hey everyone, Dr. Troy Dukowitz, and I am excited to share with you the results formula. Now, this is great for really anyone. If you're feeling stuck, it's a great way to help you to get unstuck and find those pieces or those areas that need to change in order for you to move forward. If you are a person who is, stuck goes along the lines of being frustrated, irritated, aggravated, and all those things. If you're looking to reverse engineer, we hear this all the time where people say, hey, begin with the end in mind. And so you look at the end and you work backwards to identify those steps that it's going to take for you to get to where you want to go. There's pieces that are missing though when people do that. They'll often miss the obstacles. Like, why not, as you're building this out and you're realizing, like, here's the steps I need to take, what would happen if you took the extra time to identify the obstacles that you might face along the way? And with those obstacles, what would happen if you also identified the solutions to those particular challenges? What this does is every time you take a step like this, it significantly increases the likelihood of you being successful, assuming one thing, of course, that you continue to take the action. And so there's this reverse engineering, there's this finding the steps, there's this find the obstacles with solutions, but there's also another part that people tend to forget. And you've heard this over and over again in your life. Be, do, have, be, do, have. Be the person you've always wanted to be, do the things that person will do, and then you'll have the things that you want to have. Well, this is very much taking that equation of be, do, have and breaking it down into this results formula. And it's hitting and identifying the one area that people a lot of times miss. So there's this result that I want to have. And let's say that result is that you want to get 20 new patients a month. Okay. And so we go backwards, and in that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here so you can see this and you don't have to see me moving my hands to share this particular discussion. So there we go. We've got over, if you look over here on the far right, you go, okay, well, cool. There we go. I've got the result. The result that I want to have is I want 16 or 20 new patients a month. The actions that are necessary for me to get there, this becomes very much a brainstorming type thing. You might come up with 10, 15, 20 ideas for the actions that are necessary to help you to get new patients. And let's say you go ahead and you brainstorm and you come down with 3. One, I'm going to start being more active and intentional on asking for referrals in my office. That's going to be number 1. Number 2, I'm going to do healthcare classes. I haven't done them for years. I've always been frustrated with them, but I'm going to re-engage. I'm going to do healthcare classes. And number 3, I'm going to engage more in the community. So I am going to schedule talks externally over the course of the next 3 months. Okay. So here's the thing though, as you write those things down, here's what I know. The minute I said something like referrals, there are some of you that cringe. Like, oh my God, it feels so salesy. I can't stand doing that. So your mindset around doing referrals is that it's a sleazy thing to do or it's a salesy thing to do, and you just don't want to do it in your practice. But yet you've done this before, and I have too, where you listen to somebody and say, I'm telling you, if you go do this thing, it is going to help your practice. And for those people who it resonates with them, they're like, oh man, I used to do referrals all the time. Why did I stop that? For you, that particular action is like done, right? Because your mindset says, oh my gosh, that is something that when I've been successful in my office, I've been really consistent at doing that. It's a very abundant thing to do. I deserve it. I give great service. I give great care. Right? The mindset behind this for you is like no brainer. You're living in abundance. And so I go, and the action set is I'm going to ask one person each shift throughout the course of the morning and through the afternoon. I might do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon if I just want to get started doing this. But I'm going to go through and I might even look at the schedule and identify the people that I'm going to talk to. And I set this goal for myself in the day, and that's what I'm going to do. And then if I'm consistent with that, I get to the end of the month, and there's a very, very high likelihood that you're going to be somewhere around that 20 new patient mark. It might be higher. It might be 25 to 30. It might be a little bit lower. It might be 17 or 18. But the point of this is that when you really, you've got to have clarity of what it is that you want. You have to identify the actions that you're going to take to get there. But you also have to understand a mindset, because for the person who cringed, of course, this isn't going to work, right? You go, well, fine. Troy told me to do it. I'll just go do it. And you do it begrudgingly, and you do it from a place of lack and doubt. And as you do that now, and you're asking people, they know, they feel the energy, they feel the vibe, and they say to you, yeah, I don't know anybody that I would send here. No, I don't talk about your practice to anybody in the entire planet. right? Like they say these things and you sit there and go, see, I told you it wouldn't work for me. The same thing happens with something like a healthcare class. We go, okay, I still want the 20 new patients. The action is to take and do a healthcare class. And my mindset around it is I've done them in the past. They never work. People don't show up. It's a salesy, sleazy thing to do. It doesn't work for me. All lack, fear, doubt type of a consciousness, right? And so, of course, when you go and you set up that first healthcare class, why? Because the coach told you to. I want you to go do this thing. The coach told you to, and you go and you set it up. You go, see, man, I told you nobody'd show up. I told you they wouldn't show up. I told you my staff wasn't into it. I told you nobody would show up. Well, of course, because your mindset around the entire action was that it was going to flop in the first place. So why wouldn't it flop? So unless you can change your mindset around the action, then you're probably going to continue to get the same results that you've always gotten. Now, this doesn't mean don't take action, okay? It's not, some people say, well, you got to wait for the mindset to catch up. No, man. If I heard it said one time, being in the process is good enough. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to go after this whole healthcare class thing. I haven't really been excited about it in the past, but I also know that my performance hasn't been great. I also know that I never really talk it up. I also know that I never get my staff excited about it. I never incentivize maybe my team to get people in the seats. Like I've always been half-assed at doing it in the first place. So what if I actually went all in and I got excited about the opportunity that if I had 5 patients bring another person, see, I'm not trying to do this bullshit that, bring 1,000 people. No, I'm saying like, what if you just look at this and you go, man, if I had 5 people bring a person, I've got 10 people in the seats. If I had 10 people bring a guest, I've got 20 people in the seats. See how that works? Like you can get the butts in the seats and then you have to go and perform this thing. So you go, mindset is, you know what? I half-assed it before. I was coming from a place of scarcity or I was coming from a place of fear or whatever. That was me before. It's not me now. Now is like, what would happen if I put effort into this thing? What would happen if I put intention and was deliberate about the intention I put into this thing? And all of a sudden, when you start to do that, your energy starts to change. You're like, okay, we're doing a healthcare class. We're doing it on the 25th. We're also going to have snacks. We're going to talk it up as a happy hour healthcare class so that people, if they feel like, oh man, I got to get home and I got to eat, don't worry about it. We've got food here for you. You can bring your kids. We'll have one of our CAs is going to take them in the other room. They'll do crafts together. They'll watch movies together, whatever it is. And everybody's taken care of. And then you come and do that class, like, wow, I can't believe I stopped doing it. And you get the result that you want. So it's the ability for you to look at it. And this works in any area of your life. Now, here's what I also have to tell you is if we go back to the result, we go, you got to be specific though. And people use this word more all the time. And they get pissed off that they don't hit goal. I want more new patients. Okay, well, if you get 1 more new patient tomorrow, that's more than you had today if you had 0. If you had 15 last month and you get 16 next month, that's more than you had the month before. And so you have to be extremely specific about the result that you are looking for. You can't just say, I want more money. I want more time. I want more freedom. I want more patience. You can't just say, I want more. You have to be specific about the more, because the more specific, pun intended, that you are in identifying what you want, then you can identify and outline the specific actions to get there. If I say I want more new patients, well, then my actions are, I'm going to go ahead and I'll write down a bunch of stuff in order to get new patients, but I still don't know what more means. So now maybe I do get 5 more new patients next month, but I'm not happy about it because I really wanted 15. I really wanted 20. Or I get 1 more and it's like, and I go, man, this really sucks. I can't believe it. I got 16 this month and 15 the month before. It's like, well, where was your mindset? Your mindset was still in a lack, unclear place, as opposed to, I want this many. I want to lose this many pounds. I want to have this many dates with my spouse or with my children. Whatever the result is, there is always a set of actions that you can take and brainstorm to build out subsets to those actions. So what I mean by that is that's why I said, like, you could put 20 things together on marketing for new patients, but you narrow it down to maybe the top 3. And from those top 3, you start with 1. And with that 1, you draw out the actions that are necessary in order to help that 1 to come true. Now I go back and I look at what's my mindset around these. Wow, I'm really getting overwhelmed. Okay, well, making something from a place of overwhelm is going to suck energy from you. You get done, you get the result. If it's not the results you wanted, you go, well, I won't do that again because I wasted energy. Or you get the results you wanted, but now you're exhausted. So if I draw this out and I go, man, I feel overwhelmed, cool. What would help you to feel energized about this? Well, one, look at the purpose of it and look at what you want to accomplish. Yeah, 20 new patients, 30, 40, 50 new patients would energize me. However, how can I go at this with some support? How can I go at this with getting my team involved? How can I go at this with pulling in some people that can help me to do this particular event so that when I get the full result that I know I'm going to get, that I don't feel exhausted and beat down as a result of doing this thing. See, because I went through the action sets, I identified some of the possible feelings I could have. And if I could get those, see, if I go into an action set with, oh my God, this is going to be so exhausting. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so overwhelming. Then again, I'm affecting the overall outcome unless I'm prepared to do the work. I'm prepared to pay the price. It's an obstacle. Overwhelm is an obstacle. So what can I do along the way to keep myself energized? What can I do? There's an action set. What can I do along the way? So here's the 3 things that I want to do to promote this event. The 4th thing is energy management, so that I make sure I'm monitoring my energy throughout the course of creating this result, so that when I get the result, not only do I feel good and energized, I'm not exhausted, and I still get the result that I want. So this equation will work anywhere you want it to in your life. We go through this with our clients all the time. When something comes up, I'm pulling out the results formula because it helps us to identify actions that need to be taken. Sometimes you got the mindset, but the actions are off. Sometimes you got the mindset and the actions are good, but we didn't identify what the obstacles were and the challenges and how to get past them. That's a mindset thing, right? So you find that it kind of creates a loop as you go through it. But I can always, if I'm not getting the results I want, I go, okay, what have you been doing? I've been taking these actions. Okay. Another question. Have you been consistent? No. Start over. Where's your mindset then around the actions? Well, it just seems like a lot of work. What if it doesn't work? So it's doubt. The mindset behind it is doubt. So I'm not consistent and I'm doubtful. Okay. Is this the result you really want? Well, yeah, of course, I told you it's what I want. Okay, well, sometimes people write down stuff as a check the box type of a thing. It sounds good. Is the result what you say you want that you want? Yes, it is. Okay, so what are the actions you have to take? Da, 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 da. What's the mindset you have to have? I have to be abundant, and I have to have a mindset of consistency, of being committed, of seeing it through until the end. Okay, now that we've identified that you weren't consistent, you weren't committed, is this truly what you want? Yes, here's the actions you need to take. Got it, clear. And do I have the mindset behind it to drive it through till the end? Yes, I see where I failed here. I see where I missed something here, is that I wasn't being consistent. I wasn't doing the work on a consistent basis. I wasn't giving it my full effort. I wasn't being engaged, whatever it is. This thing always works. Again, we do this with our clients all the time, and I've used it. Some of you are watching this. I've worked this through with you as well. And so remember, you can always come back to this. I'm always here to support you. For those of you who aren't in one of our programs, if you feel like this resonates with you and you really like that kind of direction in your life, all you have to do is DM me or email me, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you about how this can work in your own life, but also what we could do to possibly work together and move forward and help you to create the life that you've always wanted, the life and the business, not just one or the other, folks, the life and the business. And really, for me, it's really about that life, making sure that you have your family first, you're connecting at home, and you're doing the things that are necessary to grow and expand that family life while still having a great business life. All right, that's all I've got for you today. I'm Dr. Troy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.